Tonight, First Contact, exclusive footage of Burma's devastated Irrawaddy Delta as at last villagers get some aid.
And you can see some dead body floating here.
We speak with a young missionary who arrived in Australia just this morning, straight to the disaster area.
It's heartbreaking, but it's made me motivated to do everything that I can to help.
G'day and welcome again. Gripping eyewitness stuff from Burma's disaster area in a moment. Plus, Tony Blair's outspoken spouse. Cherie Blair has just launched her tell-all autobiography after their departure from Number 10. How do you react when you appear to be a pretty normal, sensitive person to being described as a vain, self-regarding, shallow-thinking viper? Hello? What do they really think about you?
Yeah, that's my friends. No, it's true. Look, I'm only human, and therefore I tend not to read the ones that are really bad.
And a side of beautiful Paris you probably haven't seen. Those ugly ghettos that went up in flames 3 years ago, then again last year, and the locals are saying it could happen again.
We have rights, and we want our rights. I am French, okay, and I want to have my rights.
It's almost a month now since Cyclone Nargis ripped into Burma. Today we read that more than 130,000 are dead or missing and counting. We've all watched, of course, disgusted, as the country's military rulers have pussyfooted about opening their borders to international aid. Only yesterday were UNICEF finally allowed in, joining a small team of religious groups already working in the devastated areas. Well, earlier today, Karenna Laklem, an Australian from a Christian group, Asian Tribal Ministries, flew into Sydney with some remarkable footage from the hardest hit region, the Irrawaddy Delta. And a warning, there are graphic images in her material. Karenna, you're looking pretty tired.
Yes, I am.
You've been through a terrible few weeks. You've arrived back here in Australia only this morning.
Yes.
And you've seen probably the worst there is to see of what's been happening in Burma, the death and destruction.
Yes.
It's a silly question, I know, but how are you feeling? Traumatised, shell-shocked, or what, having seen what you saw?
It's heartbreaking, but it's made me motivated to do everything that I can to help.
How long did you spend there on this occasion, this last trip?
On this occasion, 1 week.
1 week?
Yes.
That was probably enough almost
yes,
to see how
definitely.
bad things were. So you're part of this organisation which has been actually working in the area of Burma and Thailand for some time though?
Yes, I have.
So it would appear, and we're going to have a look at the footage that you've got in a moment, it would appear that you've got pretty reasonable access. You're able to move around a lot, whereas international agencies weren't able to.
Yes, we do have access because we've been working there for the last couple of years, and so we have connections with the authorities. They know our work there,
right.
And so we've built that relationship of trust between them, so I've been able to get in straight away.
Even with the generals themselves?
Yes, with the generals
themselves. I'd like to talk to you about that, but before we do, why don't we see if we can't take our viewers with you and I on a journey almost like the one you took.
Okay.
Let's start with this footage we've got here. Where are you there?
We are in the town of Nyamyak, which is halfway to the port of Laputa, which is where the aid is reaching up to.
Right, so this is how far from Rangoon?
This is about 5-6 hours drive.
Right. So this is actually the centre of the devastation, or are you still only on the edge of it?
We're on the edge of it, but the devastation reaches right down from the most southern point right up to Rangoon. The whole area is devastated, but this is sort of the middle in between.
Right, but you were able to get there by road at
yes.
this point.
Yes.
And this aid that's being distributed here, where's that from? It looks like I saw US aid on there on the
yes,
box.
These are the packages that the US cargo planes have sent in.
Right, but not the US themselves, they've just dropped off the aid.
Yes, just dropped off the aid.
And it's given to groups like yours?
Yes, taken by the military trucks to these port towns.
Right, so this is all done with the authorities' knowledge and approval?
Yes.
Right, but they won't let the Americans themselves distribute it,
no.
But you're able to?
Yes.
Right. Is this a normal village or is this a refugee camp?
This is a refugee camp, which is halfway between the port town and Rangoon.
Right, so how long have these people been without provisions, without any medicines, without anything more, really?
These people have been in this refugee camp probably for about a week and a half. They're survivors right from the areas that were directly hit.
Right, this looks pretty normal. These people have been packed into this one place where they got shelter.
Yes.
So they're after food, they're after shelter, they're after medicines, all of everything in fact.
Yes, everything, and not just for short term but for long term, for at least 6 months, and then after that more as well to help resettle them.
Right, they'd be looking forward to this food.
Yes.
Because I would imagine that because of the devastation and then the death,
yes,
and all that went with that, the contamination, there was no food around that they could have got for themselves.
Yeah, there was nothing. That lady that I was talking to, she told me about how when the water started to rise in their village, her husband, who was paralysed from the hip down, and her were trapped, but their son, who was fit and strong, saved his parents, taking them to a safe shelter area. And then as the water was continuing to rise, he kept going out to save different people and bringing them to that shelter, but in the end the water was just too strong and swept him away. But the people that he saved, they all survived.
That's a paradox, isn't it?
Yes.
These refugee camps always look a bit cute, don't they? But in fact these people's homes have been destroyed, I imagine.
This is the things that they had there, that is all they have. The mats and the bamboo huts there, that's all been built for them, but everything else they've lost.
Right. So do these people have any idea what the future holds for them? Are the officials telling them what might happen from this point on?
I think there are plans to resettle after, but this can only happen after the monsoon season. It'll be impossible to do this during the monsoon season.
Right. No sign of the Burmese military around at any stage of these pictures, at least.
Not these ones, but they have been going around to visit the devastated areas.
Right. So this, of course, is one example. There's probably lots of these sort of camps all over that area.
Yeah, all over.
So this is where you're able to pick up a boat?
Yeah, this is the Port Laputa. This is the on mainland.
Right.
Yep, the last town on mainland.
And as you say, the only way of getting from this point to where, and we still have no idea how many people have been affected.
That's right.
I mean, 130,000 is today's figure.
Yeah.
Of the number of people we think are dead or missing. But we still have no idea beyond this point.
Yeah.
How many other, probably hundreds of thousands, do you think it might?
Well, it said that there were over 100,000 missing, so we don't know how many of them have survived.
Right. And this is a boat that you were able to get to put the aid on board?
Yes, this boat was rented by another organisation that we're working with.
Not exactly a gigantic freighter.
No, but it's enough to hold 20 to 30 people and aid for one village.
Heading off now into the actual estuary, into the actual delta.
Yes.
And there's a sign of things that